Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Buenos dias, mi gente. Yo, welcome to Daily Discipline number 368. My name's Rob. Happy that you're here. Honored and humbled that you keep coming back like for reals. Thank you. Appreciate it. It's a Savage Saturday. It's a football Saturday. It's a work day. Got family in town. Lots going on. So it's time to do this. Let's go. First things first, still the realist. I'm also good. Yeah. And remember yesterday I was indifferent. Pissed off Rob showed up. Ooh. Let's just talk about this for a second. I was in a foul mood most of the week, starting about Monday afternoon. And I know that because I was negative and upset, that more negativity kept coming my way. And you're in those cycles and it's hard to get out of it. And unfortunately, after a couple of days of that, people come up and they may do something that in the big scheme of things isn't that big a deal. But then it just sets me off in emotion. People are like, oh my God, what happened? They're like, yeah, well, here's what I would say to that, right? Is probably there's some catch-up in there, right? And we're not talking about the condiment. We're talking about catching up, meaning there's probably some stuff that you've been doing or whatever, right, that's been irritating me, and I just didn't. And then by the time you showed up and I was having a pissed-off day and I laid into you, probably just catching up. That's probably where we need to be anyway, where we ended up. So it's all good, right? It's all good. And the other thing I've been thinking about is that, I've been a bear this week, snapped at a couple people, worse than snapped at some other people. And I think to myself, how many times did that happen to me, right? I'm like, a lot. And then I'm like, did anybody ever apologize to me for that? No. Then why am I worried about it? Especially the people that got me all that fired up, So it's all good, right? How about we'll just call it even, right? All right. And we're caught up. My thank yous for the day, right, are the chat I had with my neighbor yesterday. So, not directly across the street, over one, kind of like where I wear my hat, right, like this, and cocked once, right? That's where the neighbor would be that I want to talk about. And I don't even know his name, right? Even though the Quan told me, don't ever put yourself in a situation the first time you meet your neighbors is when there's a problem. So I've met him several times. He's very nice. We've been, anyway, he's got a Chiefs thing out there, flag, right? And I never saw the Chiefs flag until I started hanging my Packers flag, but that's okay, right? So he had Chiefs flag. Chiefs played the other night. Their quarterback got hurt. It's a big problem for them. Big problem for any team that's got a great quarterback. Anyway, so yesterday after, my day started getting better, started having more positive conversations, knew my dad was close, right? So that makes me happy. And I just went outside. I just wanted some fresh air. I'd been stuck in front of the computer for hours working and arguing, right? Just over nonsense, dumb stuff. And I allowed that to get me so fired up. Anyway, walk outside. He's coming home early from work, had looked like he'd stopped at the store. So we started chatting about some football. And he asked me, he's like, are you a football coach? Because you seem like you should be a football coach. And I'm like, you know what? I agree with you. I probably should have been a football coach, but instead, I am a logistics commercial director. That's just fancy speak for I'm a salesman, right? So we start talking about my job, right? And, look, when you're in the middle of it, you forget how awesome your job is. And then you start talking to somebody and he's like, you do business with them, and you've been here. Yeah, I've been to Korea, been to Japan, going to go to Rotterdam. My life's pretty good. Probably going to go to China soon, right? And so as I was talking to him, it helped me flip my perspective, right? It's kind of like, remember we talked about those things they had when you were a kid and you looked into the viewfinder and you just click it and the perspective changed, right? It went from red to yellow or yellow. And everything looks different. When it's a different perspective, you're changing it. Once I took that in mind and flipped it and said, all right, if I were somebody else looking at my life, what would I say? But bro, you got a good life. Guess what? I got a pretty good life. But even in the middle of a good life, sometimes people drive you crazy. And when they drive you crazy, these things happen. All right, anyway, as I was thinking about my life and, how fired up I was this week, I just wrote down these things I want to share with you. Number one, I was watching something this week. I believe it was 60 Minutes, and it was about, I think it was the segment where they were talking about how there's these doctors who are giving people what would be considered massive amounts of the whatever the active ingredient is in mushrooms, right? And it puts people on these trips, and you hear that, and they're like, my ego melted in front of my eyes, and it's all this, and it's a very it's extreme, right? But in the conversation, one of the doctors was saying, look, this is similar to how what happens with the brain activity is similar to what we see when somebody enters into a relationship and falls in love and they're just overcome with joy from love. He's like, there's science that proves love is the most important thing, right? Like if you've got love in your life, everything else takes care of it. So I just have to remember that. Number two, fight for what you love, right? If you feel like you just got to fight for what you love, and you should never, ever, ever, ever feel bad about fighting for someone that you love. Ever, right? Oh man, this is a good one. This is a song from 38 Special. Hold on loosely, right? Recite those. Hold on loosely, but don't let go. If you cling too tightly, you're going to lose control, right? So if you're holding on too tight to something or someone or a relationship, you'll choke it out, right? And the people around you, especially if they love that person that's getting choked out, they're not going to be okay with it. Just saying. Know your role, right? Man, is there anything worse than when somebody gets outside their lane and gets into your lane and then won't get back in their lane? So we have to know our role, right? What is my role in this situation, right? Is it my role to take over and be the dominant person? Or should I sit here and just be a part of it, right? Know your role. Respect others' boundaries, right? I mean, look, that's a big one for me. If somebody just does not show respect for my boundaries, then they don't respect me. And respect is earned. It is not given, right? There is nothing that pisses me off more than old people who think that you should respect them just because they're what the fuck, man? How does that because you managed to make it around the you haven't brought any value to my life. You're just old, and therefore I should suppress my wants and desires for you because you're old. No, that's not how that works. I will defer to people that I love and respect. Old people are just old people. All right. Be an effing savage for what you want. It's a Savage Saturday, right? So, of course, I was thinking about that. I was thinking about the Yankees won a big game last night, and Aaron Boone, their manager earlier this year, talked about when they have games like that and they get up there and they're attacking every pitch. He's like, they are effing savages. That's what we need to be like. We need to be effing savages, chasing, protecting, what we love. You get what you give, right? Think about that, right? We get what we give. And I think sometimes that's why people like me are I know I've been given better than that, and I don't know why that's coming back to me. And so for me personally, I feel it's look, I've been given, I ain't been getting. Help me understand what the delta is there, right? And the last one is we're all responsible for our own happiness, right? People can piss us off, drive us crazy, do things intentionally to make us mad, or completely disregard our feelings, our boundaries, everything else, and just be selfish. But guess what? I'm still responsible for my own happiness. And if I allow myself to get all worked up and pissed off like I did for a week over dumb shit, that's on me, right? It really is. Now, there's something to be said about other people that are triggers, and that's for another conversation. For right now, I'm just going to remember that I'm responsible for my own happiness. Man, 9 minutes. I was all fired up today. All right, with that, we're done for the day. Hands up. Peace out. We're better together. Appreciate you guys stopping by. Bro's got a big game this afternoon against Broken Arrow Platinum, so let's go get some. All right. See you guys tomorrow for a Sunday Fun Day. Deuces. Bye.